Americans that we do care.
Right.
And which coincide with Obama's message, is that he just doesn't want just African Americans or Latinos,
right.
Asians, everybody. He wants to be inclusive. He doesn't want to be an African American president.
Right.
He wants to be the president of all people for the United States.
Exactly.
But it's also incredible. It speaks a lot about you as well. I mean, it's incredible for you. I know we've seen it a lot in the media during the campaign time. I think you said you led about 3 groups to Nevada.
Well, I went to Nevada 3 times,
right.
but the middle one I led myself. The others I was along for the ride.
Along for the ride.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, but the reason that and people ask why you want to go to Nevada, why don't you do it in California, was because Nevada was a swing state.
Right.
It was very critical for Obama or for the Democrats to actually run that state.
Yeah, it hadn't gone blue I don't know if it's ever voted for a Democratic president. But this time around, we turned it, just like Obama turned a lot of different states that were traditionally Republican, put them into play.
Right. And who could not say that maybe you guys were the driving force? You guys that put that over and become a blue state.
I calculated how many doors that we knocked on, how many people we reached out to. And for 100 people, we each knocked or received a list of about at least 50 names.
Right.
So that's about 5,000 names and doors that we knocked on.
Wow.
So that made a very big difference.
Oh, I'm sure it is, because they can tell their friends, and their friend can
Right,
tell
it's
their
exponential.
So you don't know how far it gone.
Right.
But anyway, again, it's historical turning where it was never a blue state. Now it's a blue state.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just incredible. And here again, this show here, I'm sure there's a lot of this show. Most people watch this, probably English speaking. Most younger age people watching this, and Jay's here is telling you can do it. You can go out there and make a difference, make a change.
Yeah.
And we saw that this year. We saw that this time around.
Yeah. There's a real thirst for change, and there's a real vacuum for good leadership in our country. And I think that's what Obama filled. I forgot to mention one of the reasons why I really supported Obama when we were discussing that earlier. And that's his amazing ability, which was demonstrated in this election, to bring in previously uninterested, disinterested parties to the political process.
Right.
And that in and of itself is a reason to support Obama. Just the ability for him to get young people, independents, even older people who don't care to vote, to get them involved is great for democracy, because it changes the political equation for all politicians. So now all politicians have to answer to that kid who voted for Obama but now is going to be planning to vote for city council or a school board. When I run for re-election, I'm going to have a bigger population that I have to answer to, knowing that I'm going to have to be a better leader, because I know I can't just rely upon certain constituencies.
Right.
So I think that was, the biggest reason to support Obama. Aside from all of his other qualities, his intelligence and everything else that he has, it was just that spark that he had to change the political equation.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's good for the government that we have. Where you hit it right on is where he needs to be accountable for all people now, not just small amount of people where he knows that he can get elected, so just cater to their needs. But now he has to look out for everybody's interest, in which a leader should be doing that.
Exactly.
And I know for this election, all the numbers supported. What Obama did is, I think they hit all records, at least for the last 50 years, is the younger group, the middle-aged group, the older crowd, they all came out and voted in huge numbers.
Right.
As well as the Asian population.
Right. And I think the Asian population they found skewed more than 3-1 to Obama, which is great because it shows that, Asians do care about politics. We were affected by the last 8 years, and, we're paying attention. So for a group like ours to skew in one way, that means in the future politicians will have to actively court us because they know that we can deliver a lot of votes.
Right. I know from my experience with reading these things is we put a critical moment in American politics right now is even though we only have 4% of the total population, but that 4% can actually decide who's get into office or not.
Right. Yeah. Based on how this 4% swings,
Right.
It can really determine how elections go. And that's one of the reasons why we campaigned in Nevada. Nevada actually has a significant Asian American population, primarily Filipinos. So we had a lot of Filipino Americans come from California to campaign. But if you can swing that small group, elections are decided by just a couple percentage points.
Right.
So we can make a very big difference.
Right. So I know Obama put a lot of Asians on their very prominent roles in the government. We talked about Stephen Chu, we talked about Eric Shinseki,
right,
and also Chris
Liu
in that.
Sanjay Gupta
right.
Will be Surgeon General.
That's right. That's right there. So with all these appointments and with all his focus, equal opportunity everyone, and given a lot of prominent roles for the Asian Americans, what else do you see from him to do more for the Asians?
Well, what I thought was really great about his appointments was he didn't just appoint people who had worked on the campaign. He wasn't just rewarding big donors or loyalists. I don't think Stephen Chu lifted a finger for Obama. Right? He's a professor. He's not a politician.
Right.
He's an academic. And Eric Shinseki, he had resigned from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was the Army chief. He's the highest-ranking Asian American officer in the Army, I think in the entire military.
Right.
And he was the one who first said that an invasion of Iraq would require hundreds of thousands of troops.
Right.
And because he said that, he was pretty much put to the side by Donald Rumsfeld. But he was ultimately proven to be correct.
Right.
And he kind of just faded into the background. So, the people that Obama promoted are people based upon their ability, not even based upon their loyalty to Obama. Even Hillary Clinton was awarded Secretary of State, and this was after the most bitter primary probably in the Democratic Party's history.
Right.
So I think it's really good what he's been doing, how he's been choosing his people, and choosing Asian Americans based on their ability as opposed to outside factors. And I think going forward, we're going to see more of that from Obama, where he's going to be choosing people based on their ability, Asian Americans or not, for more roles in his administration.
I see. Well, I'm going to go into a break first, but when we come back, I'd like to do is pick your brain about Obama's administration in terms the things that people most care about right now, the economy, and also a lot of worry about his national security issues. So let's take a break now, and we'll come back and talk about those.
Okay.
Welcome back to Community Roundtable. Last segment we led off with Jay is we want to talk about the things that Obama's been doing right now in his administration.